Hello students, Namaste, welcome to MBA 360. We're going to discuss about KJSIM Institute of Management today and the selection process, the eligibility criteria, the weightages, the placements and fees and everything that you want to know about on KJSIM Institute of Management. Now KJSIM Institute of Management was established in 1981. So it was a standalone B school. In 2019, it became a part of the Somaiya MBA, which is a university. Earlier, KJSIM was a standalone institute for B school. They also had engineering college and many other colleges, but they all combined together to form the Somaiya MBA University. And now at this point in time, KJSIM Institute of Management gives you a degree from Somaiya MBA, which is very, very good. Because remember, at this point in time, the PGDM slowly is getting subsumed into being an MBA. Even IIMs earlier were giving PGDM and now they're giving an MBA. From that perspective, it is very important for you also to understand that the fact that it is now giving a degree, MBA degree, is good for all of you because we don't know the future of PGDM as you move along, because even IIMs have now started giving an MBA degree. Right. So in 2019 onwards, it is now a part of Somaiya Vidya, which is called SVP, right? Now, it's a constituent college of Somaiya Vidya, right? It's spread over 4 acres of land. 65 is an NRF ranking. Now, the reason why we talk of ranking is the Government of India ranking. So it's important for you to understand that the data that you're seeing here is based on a ranking that was submitted in an affidavit to the Government of India, because of which this ranking came up. The total students in the institution is 1,263. They actually offer multiple programs, right? Because of which this intake happens. You know, they actually have 3-4 specializations, if I remember correctly. And about of which 60% are boys and 40% are girls. This is a very good gender ratio. Very good gender ratio. With this kind of a ratio, it is very good at this point in time. And about 65% students come from outside the state, and a lot of students come from the neighboring state, which is Gujarat and so on and so forth. But about 65% students come from outside the state, and about 87 is the faculty. So when you see the faculty, it is about 1:14 kind of a faculty. For every 14 students, there is one faculty member, 1263 by 87, which is very good at this point in time, because what is mandated is 1:15, so they're doing slightly better than that. Now, what is the kind of intake that you have and how does it work? Remember, I told you about 1,256. Here we're talking about the flagship program and how it's moving, and all the programs. As you move along, they've been growing as we discussed. So 643 is the intake. All 643 were admitted. 595 students were placed. Now you must remember that in this institution, a lot of students come from Maharashtra and Gujarat and all, and a lot of them want to join their own family businesses also. So you would always see a gap in these kind of places in terms of the students preferring to get placed versus students preferring to do their own business. So you'll actually see that gap here, right? Opted for higher studies is 0, which is very good, because a lot of people, when they can't place students, they've given a filling number here so that the placement percentage goes up. But these people have been honest enough to say that there is no student who opted for higher studies, which is what should be the case for an MBA. After MBA, what kind of education would you want to do that people want to study for higher studies, unless you want to do research and all, right? So 92.53% is the placement percentage at a median salary of 12 lakh. So the median salary has been growing year on year. The placement percentage is 96, 96 and 93%, so it's come down a bit. But that's okay, because as I told you, that a lot of students in this kind of institutions prefer to study, work in their own businesses, and that happens here. Right. Now, what is the highest salary that they have? 27.25 lakh. Average salary is closer to the median salary, which is 12 lakhs, remember that? So this is good, because when the average and median are moving in tandem, it means that things are in place in the institution. The average salary of the top 10% is 18 lakh. The top 20% is 16.58 lakhs and the top 30% is 15.61 lakh. So again, this seems to be working out very well, because when you actually deal with 15.61 and 12.69 as the average for the entire batch, you're dealing with about 11 lakhs for the bottom 70%, which is very good, 11.5 lakh, which is very good, which means that the salary is evenly spread out. And when you have a low batch size and you actually have placed 5-7 students with a very high salary, say 1 crore pack kind of a thing, the bottom actually gets very, very less, because it's an average salary. Here it seems to be pretty evenly spread out. I always say this, that the kind of companies that come in, the kind of roles that are offered is very important for you to define a B school. In the case of KJ Somaiya, 20% are from banking and insurance, 20% from financial services. Remember, this is in Bombay, so you'll actually have a dominance of financial services out here, which is 40%. Banking and insurance and financial services, because like if this was Bangalore, it would be a lot of IT companies and startups. In the case of Bombay, it will be banking and financial services, which is what is very clearly. And of course, consulting, another 10% comes in. Manufacturing is 9%, and media, logistics, telecom is 6%. Consulting, of course, is 10%, I told you, and IT is 14%. right? So between these three, which is banking and insurance, financial services and consulting, it's a 50%, which is what a state like Maharashtra and a city like Bombay would give you normally, because the kind of companies that stay there are those. Now, what kind of, again, if you look at the companies that come in, for banking and insurance, it's Axis Bank, Barclays, HSBC, financial services, RCCM, IT, Accenture, Cognizant, Infosys, manufacturing, Mahindra, advertising, Bluestone, Landmark Group, and Deloitte and Gartner for consulting. So you actually have all the kind of companies that are coming in, who are there present in Bombay, recruiting from these people, right? Now, this is important for you. When you look at the data here, and this is LinkedIn data of the number of students who graduated from Somaiya Institute of Management, and we try to understand where are they working at this point in time. And in terms of the location, we also have data of which companies, but we'll not talk of that because it really gets stretched out. We looked at where are the students who studied at Somaiya Institute of Management and where are they working at this point in time. When we looked at the data, about 89% students work in India, of course, which means that 11% students are around the globe. 11% students, right? Now, when we looked at where do this 11% work, about 3.2% students are working in US, 1.78% students are working in Canada, 1.37% students are working in Dubai, and 1.12% students are working in UK, which means that the students who are studying at Somaiya Institute of Management have been mobile enough that they actually, after, once they joined the first company, moved on and grew in their career and have moved outside of India to grab global roles also, which is a very good testimony for the kind of work that Somaiya Institute of Management does, because about 11% for such an institute which is based out of Maharashtra is good. And that possibly is because they first got into a consulting role or a finance role, and within that group they actually moved on, because if you look at the kind of companies that came in, you'll realize that a lot of these companies are all over the globe. Deloitte, Gartner, Accenture, Barclays, HSBC. And once you join those companies, you start moving up, which is what happened in this particular case also. So that is a very good testament. Now, what is the selection criteria of this? 25% is qualifying examination. Personal interview is 25%. Problem situation analysis is 10%. Academic profile is 15%. Written ability test is 15%. And work experience is 10%. So that is how, the selection criteria is for, KJSIM Institute of Management. Now, what is the kind of last date? 20th January is the last date for you to apply to KJSIM Institute of Management. So if you're not applied, apply, keep it in your thing. It should be a part of your consideration set for sure. If you are, it's for every student, I'd say that it should be a part of your consideration set. And especially for those who are in the neighbor, in Maharashtra or the neighboring state, you must keep it as a part of your consideration set, because it is a top B school out there in those parts for sure, right? It might be 65th best ranked all India, but in those parts, it is the top out there. Now, shortlisting those dates will be announced, and we'll keep informing you if you want to subscribe to MBA 360, because we'll keep telling you what is happening in this particular institution once you subscribe to the channel, which is MBA 360. Educational qualification, of course, you need to be a graduate, and that is what it is about. Everywhere we're talking about graduate, but 50% marks. So you need to be 50% marks in your graduation before for you to apply. Now, as I said, the process is stage 1 is appear for any of these examination, qualifying examination, which is CAT, XAT, GMAT, NMAT, and CMAT. So any of the 5 examinations, it's okay. We talked of qualifying examination, 25% weightage. These are qualifying examinations for you, 5 examinations. So you can apply, once you apply for any of these, appear for any of these examinations, you can use that score to apply to Somaiya Institute of Management. Stage 2 is shortlisting for, written ability test and personal interview. Then stage 3 it will be conducted, and then they'll declare a merit list, and then they'll give you an online seat allotment process. And if you are looking to get into any of the great B schools out there, please subscribe to MBA 360, because it will be a single point destination for you to get all information to do with all B schools. We'll work for you, we'll research for you, we'll dig data for you, so that you get into the best B school possible. So subscribe to MBA 360 if you've not already done that. Thank you so much. Namaste.